Hey everyone. So this is our second video in our series, How to Learn Words by Heart. In this series, I want to teach you 3 simple rules that you can use to help you learn new words easily, naturally, and in a way that's actually going to help you use them in real life, right? So in our first video, we talked about rule number 1, which was learn words from stories. We talked about how learning words from stories makes it really easy for your brain to remember your new words. And by stories, we don't just mean books or movies. We also mean everyday experiences, interesting conversations as well. So this video is all about rule number 2, learn words in phrases. Let's take a look. So, rule number 2, learn words in phrases. What does this mean? Well, a phrase is a group of words around your word, a group of words in context, right? It might be a full sentence, or it might be just a few words, right? So, here's my advice. When you're learning new words and you notice a new word, you should write it down, right? This is going to help you remember. But here's the trick. Never write down individual words. Write down a phrase from the story or conversation or experience, right? Write down a full sentence if that's what you want to do. But you want to keep the context. You want to keep part of the story because then when you review it later, it's going to be really, really easy for you to remember where you found it. And that's going to help you remember the meaning, right? So if I was learning English and I was keeping a vocabulary journal, here's what it might look like. Let me show you a few examples. So notice here that I have saved the phrase for each of these. In fact, in these examples, I've written down the entire sentence, right? Why? Well, because now when I go back to review my vocabulary, it's going to be really easy to remember the story or the situation where I found these words. For example, tourism in the area is on the rise. I remember reading this in an article about Antarctica. What's your take on this situation? This comes from a conversation that I had at work last week, right? So it's very easy to remember the story where I saw this stuff because I've recorded a little piece of the story, the phrase, right? And if I can remember the story, it's really easy to remember the meaning of the word. So why are people wasting time with flashcards and memorizing individual words? Why are they wasting time with vocabulary learning apps and memorizing definitions? It's a waste of time. Okay, so why do we do this? Well, you can probably guess. Learning words in stories makes words easy to remember, it helps us understand them more deeply, and it makes it a lot more likely that we're actually going to use those words in everyday conversations, right? This is all part of learning words by heart. Now, if we can keep a little part of that story and learn words in phrases, then every time we review our words, we're going to easily remember the story that we got it from, and we're going to easily remember the meaning of those words, right? We're making everything easier for ourselves by doing it this way. But there's actually one more big reason why you should learn words in phrases. And it's because phrases include a lot of important information about your new words, right? They include a lot of grammar. They include a lot of information about how to use that word. Take a look at this. So in this example, we know that a take or an opinion is on a topic. So it shows us that preposition, right? In this other example, we see that look forward to is used in a continuous form. And in fact, this expression is really common in continuous. So these phrases help us learn more about our words. In fact, when you learn a new word, don't even bother writing down its different tense forms and different prepositions that go with it and trying to memorize all this grammar information. Be honest, you're not going to remember any of that stuff. You're just going to forget. It's really difficult for your brain to remember a bunch of disconnected information about something that doesn't apply to the situation. Just focus on the phrase, focus on the story, right? And it'll have everything that you need to know about the word. Now, yes, there are situations where you'll find a word used in a different way, in a different context. But so what? You're going to run into that. You're going to see it in a different story, in a different situation, and you're going to learn that at that time, right? So don't worry about that. Focus on the phrase, focus on the story, and learn words in phrases. So that's it. Don't learn individual words. Don't worry about memorizing a bunch of grammar rules. Just study the phrase. Study the story, okay? If you do this, you'll learn words faster, you'll learn them more easily, and you'll be more likely to actually use them in real life too. Now, we've learned 2 rules so far, and our 3rd rule in our next video is all about practicing your new words. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon.